Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rufus Bill and want to welcome you to another edition of Talking To, a weekly series of shows that appears every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. from 4 to 5, where we talk about great topics, interesting things, human interest stories, and giving you some facts about how to enhance your life. And with that, we would like to bring on the lovely Joanne Tosin Fuller, our co-host. Hello, Joanne. How are you today?
Hello, Rufus. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Such a beautiful day outside.
Isn't
I'm
it beautiful?
telling you. Oh my
It
goodness.
it is
Oh
a
my.
very beautiful day. How have
Yes,
you
yes.
spent your day so far?
Whew.
What haven't you
It's
done?
been a great day. Not meetings this morning, of course, but
Okay,
I went to my cousin's open house that was outside at a park.
nice.
Yeah, graduated from high school, doing great, getting ready to go to
Okay,
Eastern, and
all
I'm
right.
just so proud of her. So it was great to be outside and to see family I hadn't seen in a while.
I can
Hmm.
imagine. So, is she excited?
She's so excited. She's so excited. I'm so proud of her. She's so
Oh, that's
smart.
good. We say congratulations to your niece on a
I'm
great
telling you.
accomplishment. How was your week?
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good, but busy, but it was good. You know what? I have no complaints. This is my weather.
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
it's been beautiful. I have no complaints. How about you?
My week was very good. My project is ongoing. My yard project.
I was just about to ask you, did you get them holes in that pot
I
so that water
did.
can drain?
I did put the hose in the pot, and you know what? I had the pot in my hand, and I had a knife, and I'm trying to stick it under the bottom, and then I tilted it some kind of way. Then all of the dirt started running down on my legs,
Uh-oh,
on my
uh-oh.
shoes. I said, "Well, you're drained now." But I was able to finally get some holes, and in the front yard, it has mostly all the mulch down.
Okay,
I think it needs two
okay.
more bags there, and then I'll do that maybe sometime this week when the spirit
Awesome,
moves.
awesome. Look, you becoming a gardener, an outside
Yes,
person. Look
how
at
about
you.
that?
You better be proud of yourself.
Well, and the funny thing about it is, every day that I'm come home or I leave, I go and look at everything, like the new plants that I've grown, and at
Uh-huh.
that time the little work that I did, and I was reveling in it, like great accomplishment, Mr. Beal.
But doesn't it make you feel good?
I honestly say yes, yes it
Good,
does.
good.
And just to really see um, those plants, those bulbs turning into plants, it's mind blowing. And I didn't realize how much I would enjoy looking at that and seeing that. So
Yes.
it's been a great biology lesson as well,
Yes.
and strength.
Say
I was picking up them
lifting
bags
those
under my arm.
bags,
I said, I'm Bruno,
lifting those pots.
Bruno and Popeye all rolled into one.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey.
I couldn't think of any latest superhero, so I had to go way back.
People probably like, who is that? Who's
Who,
he talking
right?
about?
Who is he talking to? So, Joanne, in fact, when I was on my way home today, I
Mm-hmm.
saw two interesting things that I was very shocked to see.
Uh-oh.
And I wonder if anyone else saw what I saw. The first, right there at the Meyer in Detroit at 8 Mile and Woodward, there was a lady panhandling in a fairy outfit. She had the wings, she had her face all sparkled, she had the fairy dress, the shoes, and she's standing right there on the entrance from the 8 Mile side, or the exit on the 8 Mile side of Meyer. Now, had I been on the Meyer parking lot, I probably would have given her $1. Because anybody go through all that effort on this hot day,
Wow.
oh, I had to catch myself.
Wow.
This hot day, you deserve $1.
Wow. Wow.
And she had the wand. I wonder if anybody else in the
Oh,
area saw that. As I was driving by, I had to turn and say, "Wow, now that was very, very
interesting.
creative, interesting."
Wow.
to say the least.
Mm-mm. You know what? I guess by any means necessary, though.
I believe so. I,
Wow. And
I
it goes back to a saying my mother used to say, "But for the grace of God, there go I,"
there go I.
because you don't know what mental capacity or
No,
what
you
mental
don't.
impairment that's going on. You
No,
really don't.
you don't have any idea what someone is really
Wow.
facing on a regular basis.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
you
That
really
is
don't.
so true.
And the second thing I saw, I said I really need Joanne, and I'm gonna have to learn. Maybe our engineer Al can teach me how I can pull my phone up real quick and record something while I drive. Because I said Joanne needs to be in this car with me. And we had talked about various fashion styles last week. And in case you're just tuning in, it's talking to Joanne Tosin Fuller Rufus Bill. Justin is not here today, and we'll give you an update on him shortly. And anyway, and press subscribe and like for us, all right? So anyway, I said Joanne should be in the car. So I'm passing the car wash, and I guess it's very common now that car wash owners, they're going to do a little grilling. So for the customers, while they wait, they can buy a hot dog or a hamburger or whatever, maybe a soda. Well, this particular car wash has added a very special feature.
I'm scared.
I was scared
I'm
too.
scared.
They have added ladies to entice the male drivers. So we had these women that were in front of the car wash with their two-piece bikinis, and all I could think of is I said they need a towel because I, I said whoa, but I'll say this, Joanne, they were appealing to every man who liked a variety or a different had different taste in
Tasty
women.
women. Okay.
Yes. and
Wow.
they were there. Even the pregnant girl was there. I said, now I'm sure there is a need, a demand. We'll say a demand, and supply and demand. Well, that car wash is providing the supply. Now I don't know about the demand, but I was missing you, Joanne, and you're speechless. And they
You know
were
what?
what?
Hmm. Nowadays, nothing really surprises me.
Okay.
But I think that would have surprised me. I think.
Yes.
Wow.
It caught me off guard,
Wow.
and they were
Wow.
jumping jacks and had signs.
And but and I hope they're making some good money.
Well, that's what I said.
I
I
hope
said,
I
I,
hope with all of that, I really do. I hope they're making some good money. Mm.
I'm gonna check back up there around 6 and check those purses. I said, ladies, purse check. let me
Oh my
count your let
goodness.
me count your
Wow.
coins. So that I'm sure they got them in various Crown Royal bags. But money,
You're not right. You're not right.
putting their money in
I'm
there.
I'm
And
trying to be empathetic, but you ain't
you
right.
sure are. You're doing your best, Joanne. I'm the one that's cutting up.
Oh my good. And you know what? But it reminds me of stories that I've been hearing lately about human trafficking and all of that, and the things that they're
Yes.
making a lot of these women do, and uh,
Now
uh,
you know what that you said that, and I did have that thought for a brief minute because when I looked at the girls, I said, why would they select this group of girls, these group of young ladies? I said because I was pressing the accelerator, but I'm sure that they were going to draw somebody in. But I did think for a minute, and after seeing a documentary this week about who's caught into these sexual rings,
yeah,
that you would never think that they would be into it, but the things that they have to do in
it's
terms
sad.
of of surviving.
Yes, yes. It is so sad. And nowadays you just you don't know. I'm telling you, the things that people have to go through just to survive.
It's 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 really tragic. Some of the
Yes, it
things
is.
that they
Yes,
do.
it is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, today we have our special guest that we're gonna be talking about the elections that are going on in the city of Detroit, and coming right out of the national elections with the president, the city elections usually follow that year. And we're going to have a very special guest on today who's going to kind of tell us what's going on. There's some proposal P that people are really concerned with in terms of voting for that or voting against that. And I would like to introduce a great communicator of television and radio broadcasts, and he has been able to segue and rebrand himself in an age of technology, that he is now a social media influencer, a politician, a community activist, always has been. He's the president and founder of the Ceasefire Youth Initiative. He has a very interesting story about that, and hopefully he could have some time to explain how that came about. But everybody knows this man. If you have been in the city of Detroit for at least a significant amount of time, but with all of that, we would like to welcome to the show, Joanne, Mr. Reggie, Reg Davis. His very famous tagline is "Your cuz."
We family, man. We all family. That's what it's all about, you know. One big happy family, Detroit.
How about
Hey.
that?
Yeah. That was my reason for using that on the air. It was a young man who called me one day. I was on the air, and I think this guy's maybe 8, 9 years old. He's talking about some little girl, and he loved her, and he called me for some advice. When I was done giving him advice, which was, hey man, stick to your books and don't worry about that till about 20 more years, 20 years later. He said, "Wow, thanks, cousin." And from that time, he referred to me as his cousin. I started calling everybody my cousin, and
And is that
that's
how?
But it's a beautiful thing because, like I said, this is one big family. They say 6 degrees of separation. In Detroit, it's only one half of degree of separation with our family here. So that's what that's all about.
You are so
So
right
true.
about that. So, tell me before we get started about what you're involved in and the importance of this election. How did you become so community oriented? Even from your radio talk show days, starting off, you've always had the interest of the people.
Well, I tell you one thing, Mr. Rufus Bill, and first I want to say thank you to you for always being so supportive of everything that the community needs you for, what I needed you for in certain times. Just thank you for everything you've done. The people love you. Um, I had a dream at age 7 that I was in a room about the size of a bedroom by myself with a table, and it was an instrument on that table called a microphone. I turned that microphone on in that dream, and I uplifted my voice in order to affect positive change in a community with folk that looked like the three of us. And whatever I was doing in that dream, whatever I was delivering across that microphone, it changed the way people live their lives and made it a better quality of life for people. So in that dream, I was determined after that dream at age 7 to pursue a career in broadcasting, and i.e. 36 years in radio broadcasting, television as well. And it's just all about community, all about people. My reason for being on this earth is to help people. God brought my younger brother, my only brother, home in 2001. Vito Davis, 19-year-old, went to Denby High School, had a scholarship to Eastern Michigan University. He was one late night on the east side of Detroit, about 3 a.m. He was dropping his girlfriend off after they were watching a movie at his house, And while he sat there waiting for her to get in the door, some guy knocked on the driver's side window, and he said, "I got some marijuana. Want some marijuana?" My brother goes, "No, I don't smoke marijuana. No, thank you." On the other door, the passenger side door, somebody with a little more enthusiasm, knocked on the door. "Hey, I got this good weed. You got to try something this with it." And he said, "No, no, no. I always told my brother, when you feel uncomfortable, leave the scene." So he threw the car in reverse. He backed out of the driveway, threw the car in drive, and as he started to drive off, a third assailant, these are 5 young men, give it between the age of 13 and 19. The third assailant pulled out a semi-automatic handgun with 17 rounds of ammunition. He aimed it at my brother as he pulled away, and he emptied that gun. 16 rounds, missed everything. One hit the behind his left knee, that big artery there, and he started bleeding profusely. My brother knows the east side very well. He's on his way to St. John's Hospital. Didn't make it, crashed into a tree, and his life was no more. So that's the story of my younger brother, and that putting all this together is God telling me that focusing my job here on this earth, and that is to help people that look like us. Okay, so that dream and that situation with my brother, it totally focused my lens.
Is that how you created and founded the ceasefire initiative?
Absolutely. We started out with Cousins Against Guns in 2001, that same year that my brother was assassinated. And then a couple years later, we changed the name to Ceasefire Youth Initiative. And that's been our piece ever since. Ceasefire.
Wonderful.
Youth Initiative. Yeah, that's us. And our motto is we work primarily in the schools. We haven't done much because of Corona, but our motto, is in the school buildings, and we work with school-age boys between the age of middle school and high school. And we have these mentoring programs and conflict resolution programs. And we deal with also we've been dealing with this mental health issue for a long, long time in the schools. So that's pretty much Ceasefire Youth Initiative.
If you're just tuning in, we have Mr. Reg Davis, who is an activist, a politician, a positive politician.
Yeah.
Something characteristic that we do need in today's time, and he's very involved with what's going on. He has his finger on the pulse beat of the city because he is out there all the time, listening and talking and consulting and speaking with individuals and business owners. And he's heavily involved with this cycle of elections for the city of Detroit. Why is this particular election so important, Reg?
Well, every election is important to me because, I keep thinking about, I'm out every day and I'm knocking doors, talking to people, and I continue to knock on the door and I see a young person. First, I want to say thank you to all the young people who are very intuitive, very knowledgeable. They're registered voters. They understand that you can be a felon in the state of Michigan and you can still vote. They understand you can be homeless in the state. They understand everything. And they're young, but there's still some young people, and some are not so young, who don't feel that it's important to vote. So I think every election is important because we have a chance to try to garner, more support, more voters from the people that we have in this city. If we have somewhere near 500,000 registered voters with the population of 600-something people, that means that everybody and now the clerk sends out the ballots to everybody. So everybody should vote. And when I knock on doors and I say, hey, I'm campaigning for whoever, whatever. You registered voter? Yeah. I said, do you vote? Yeah. I said, what do you mean? So when's the last time you voted? 2001 for Kwame Kilpatrick, or 2008 for the black president. I said, you never voted any other time? And it gives me a chance to break that down.
Right.
And tell them how important it is to vote and how this local thing is really important to all of us. But I started to think back to times before us where we couldn't vote. People look like us, could not vote at all. And we wanted to vote because we wanted to be a part of the change. So we lost our lives. We went through all kind of, the history. And when I say this to them and they come back with, yeah, but I don't believe in that. I don't really. Even if I would vote just because our ancestors, my forefathers, lost their lives because we weren't allowed at the polls.
Yes.
So just that point alone, I would go in there and vote. Okay, so again, to answer your question, I think that every election is important, but this election is as well. And one is, I think, because of the topic that you wanted to talk about today, and that's Proposal P, and for the people's piece. And my whole thing is, the question is this voter suppression that you have the governor, the top attorney, the mayor, and everybody saying that. Hang on a second. We're not going to support that. We're not even going to, some say we're not even going to put it on a ballot, allow it to go before the people. Therein lies the problem. Because I'll tell you, I was a part of the team that wrote the charter that exists today. In 2009, I was at amongst the greats like Teola Hunter, the great. Where she worked for the state, the county, the bona fide, Teola Hunter, Freeman Hendricks. We have people like John Johnson, Cara Blunt was a former deputy chief DPD, Ken Harris, the black business expert at that time, Ken Coleman, Rosemary Robinson, late Isaac Robinson's mom, Janice Mitchell Ford, the great attorney, and some other, so we had a great group of people, and I was appalled that. Okay, we wrote this great charter, and then, hey, we became the biggest municipality bankruptcy in this country, and then here comes this guy named Kevin Orr, emergency manager, and he shut it down. He trumped any and all policy. So when we did our job, it wasn't able to breathe or live in the city because Kevin Orr said, no, I'm doing this. It's going by what I say. I'm the emergency manager, and everything is according to what I say.
Right.
So,
and Reggie, tell the people exactly when you talk about being on the charter commissioner, what was the duty and responsibility of those members?
Yeah, thank you, Rufus. That's important. That's very important because when I was a part of it, I was the one that stood up and said, let's take part of that little budget we got and let's send a mailer piece to every citizen in Detroit to educate them on what the charter is. Because once upon a time, I remember I was on the radio at a radio station, hip hop station. I had Freeman Hendricks on a Sunday morning talk show called Street Talk, and he told me about the charter. He said, "Reg, you're so interested in things that work in the community. You should be a part of the charter commission." I heard of it. I really didn't know what it was. What the city's charter is, it's the bylaws of city government. What in essence, it's a document that shows the do's and the don'ts, right, of elected office. So the city of Detroit's charter revision, the commission, we were comprised to sit at that table and take the language in the city's charter and make it work better on behalf of the people. That's really what our job was. So it's a framework document. It talks about city council, the mayor, the city clerk, the city police commission, any of the city elected offices, how they work, the powers they can have, powers they shouldn't have. Should the mayor have way more power than council or a middle? Just for a real quick, because it was my job to talk about on the charter commission. One of the presentations I did was about form of government. And in Detroit, we're a strong mayor council form of government, meaning that the mayor has power. He's like a king in a city like Detroit. And the council, on the former charter, every now and then they could, say a little something they want to, whatever. One thing I stood up and I tried to change that whole piece. And I used the city of Dallas, Texas as an example. They were once upon a time, not too long ago at all, a strong mayor council form of government. And they changed the dynamics of the form of government and they switched it to a council manager form of government, which they are today. And it's a bigger city than Detroit. They have 1.3, 1.4 million right now. So they changed it from strong mayor king government to, hold on, let's do it a little more with a little more, completion or fairity or equity, and let's call it, we're going to do this, the council manager. So the city council would hire an individual who was independent and just really came in and we're going to do this with we're going to get this group right here to pick up our trash, we're going to do this with Parks and Rec, we're going to do. So they made those decisions and they would pay that person to do it. So it wasn't about, they didn't get confused with the politics involved. hey, oh, that's my friend. Oh, he's my buddy, so I'm gonna make sure he gets that contract. It was none of that. And what they saw in a very short period of time in the city of Dallas was a major change in everything from violence to, I mean, a better school system, a better community. Every business community everything was better. So I offered that to the Detroit City when I was a part of the commission, and I mean they stood up and applauded because of the great work I did. But then as soon as they sat down, man, please, and they voted said, Detroit, a city with the Coleman Young, with the greatest of the king, if you want to say, and we ain't gonna do that in Detroit. So yeah, that was a great time on that charter. But when Kevin Orr came in and trumped everything, I was upset because we didn't have a chance for our work to shine with these great dynamic people. Nothing against that charter commission that's trying to do their thing now, but I'm going to say this is me, I'm bold sometimes, but they have nothing on us as far as the type of people, the quality of people. Teola Hunter, Freeman, Ken Harris, the business-minded young fellow. Rosemary Robinson, a white woman who grew up in the projects and back during the stress days in the 70s, in the 60s and 70s, she stood up for prostitutes who were beaten by police officers, abused and killed, murdered by these police officers. She was a lawyer on their behalf, and she grew up in the community with black people. Anyway, that was a dynamic team that wrote that last charter. And this new charter ain't got nothing on. I'm sorry. I take myself out of the whole equation. The others 8 were dynamic individuals, and we were supposed to see that work and live amongst that work. We still haven't had a chance. We did, what, 2 years? A charter should go for at least 15 to 20 years before you sit down and try to, touch it up.
Or add to it.
Right.
So when we talk about now that we all have an understanding of the importance of the charter and the contributions that you among the other members made to the previous charter, you started to tell us the narrative of what's going on with the governor. Bring us up to date for Proposal P. What is that? What is going on?
Well, the governor and the attorney general pretty much said that charter it's not going to work. It's going to take, Mayor Duggan stood up and sided with them and said that that charter revision, the piece that they put together, it'll take us back into bankruptcy, and that's important. We must consider that. And I'm going to say I have more than one reason to not support that charter. The main reason I just told you about, how our language didn't get a chance to live, to have life. But I say that the governor, the attorney general, and the mayor, they have a point. They really do. We don't want to say, okay, the charter says we got free busing and everybody get on the bus and go for it. And it sounds good. It's a beautiful thing. But where's the money going to come from to pay the staff and the other different pieces that we need to have some type of funding? Are we going to go into the money from the city and just use that to pay for everything they're talking about? If we did, then we're definitely going back into bankruptcy. We don't want that. So, but I will say this. The question is that voter suppression, because they're saying that they don't want it to go before the people. This charter that will not work. It will send us back to bankruptcy. But I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, that is voter suppression. As much as I don't support that charter, I'm going to vote no matter what they do. And I'm going to try to find some funding myself to go on a campaign on my own in the community, on Joy Road and Dexter, where I'm from, and say, don't vote for that damn charter. I will do that. But it still needs to, that is voter suppression. When you take something away from the people being able to make their decision in this democracy, right. That's not right. And you know what I'm saying? So we need to put that on the ballot for the people to say, do you want to vote for this? And let them know at the same time, if you do, the chances of us going back into bankruptcy are very high. Do you want to vote for it? But it's on you. If you say let's do it, we're gonna do it. So, and then that's up to me and Mayor Duggan and whoever else to put together the campaigns to go against it. But that is voter suppression if you don't allow that to be on the ballot. I will say that. I'm just being honest. As much as I don't like that charter, I don't like anything about it. Sorry. They were trying to be the liberal superstars, And I get it. Okay, everything in it, you know, free bus and this for the kids, and it sounds beautiful. I love that. I really do support that. But we can't go back into bankruptcy. You saw what after we were bankruptcy, that was hard. That was a real tough time for Detroit. We don't need to go back there, especially this quick. No, if that charter is voted up and it stands, we will go to bankruptcy like very fast on a downward, you know. Okay, so let's not support it, but it needs to be on the ballot. I'll vote no on it.
So, Reggie, you're a strategist. I mean, is there anything that the people can do to put pressure on the Attorney General or the Governor or the Charter Commission?
You know, I want to say this first. Dana Nessel, I'm a fan of hers. Something about that white woman. Dana Nessel, are really, look at her work. Look at her
I'm
work.
familiar.
I am impressed, and I love her work. But Dana, that's a little bit, you know, you're going too far, but not putting that on the ballot. So I will say that to answer your question, Rufus, what can the people do? You know what they can do. This is a democracy for the people, of the people, by the people. Then that means you got to rally, you got to bring the community together, and you got to go and you got to stand before these people and tell them and be a voice. You got to talk. You got to say how you feel. I come before Dana Nessel and I got, you know, a couple hundred people with me, 50 people, 100, whatever. This is how we feel. You need to listen to what we're saying. You know, you got to consider this. So, you know, to answer your question, that it's all about us standing up and representing, bringing the other people together and going in front of these people that we elected to be in these offices. We elected them. So it's our job to hold their feet responsible. Absolutely. So that's on us, Rufus. What are we gonna do? You know, Joanne, what are we gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? But
So
for those who just sit down and don't do nothing, therein lies the issue, the problem.
And that is the problem. And basically it goes back what you said about the voters need to know and the voters need to understand, and our young people, and not, well, like you said before, not even just our young people, but people need to understand what they're voting for or what they're voting against. And so that means you have to do some research for yourself.
Right.
And trying to convince people how important it is to vote. You know, like I try to tell my son, I don't care what type of election it is, because of what our parents, what my parents went through, what my grandparents went through. You need to vote.
That's right.
You need to know, you need to look up, you need to however you find out the information. And now you have your phone and your phones are always in your hand. You need to get on that phone.
Right. No excuse. Right.
No excuse.
That's
and you
right.
need to find out what it's about. You need to find out what who these people are. You need to find out. So it's really it's disconcerting to me how many people just don't care, and how many people tell me all the time, I'm just one person, my vote don't matter.
Right.
And I said, okay, so you one person, she up the street is one person.
Right.
So you got 1,000 people saying I'm just one person. That 1,000, you got to,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
If I'm just one person, but that one vote can make a difference.
Matters,
And trying to teach our people that it makes a difference. And if you don't vote, then don't get out here fussing and complaining about stuff.
Right.
You didn't vote.
Right.
Because that's your voice.
That's right.
But then we get mad, we get upset when things change and we don't like the change. And it's like, you know what? Did you vote?
Right.
No. Then you know what? Then you have nothing to say.
Shut up. Right.
You have nothing to say to me. Really. So I agree with you. Somehow we've got to teach our people.
Yeah. And then when they say
show them pictures of people dying of our, you know, what do we have to do?
Yeah. When I go to knock on the doors and they say, yeah, I say you vote, you never voted. They say, yeah, I voted. I say, when you vote? 2008 for the black man and president. I said, okay, so you voted then, so why won't you vote anymore? You voted for that. What prompted you to vote for the black man, the first black man running for president, and what made you do that? Okay, so you should be inspired the same way to vote every time, because it's more important locally speaking than it is on the federal level. They're all important, but you're right here at home. So when you get in your car, you drive up the street to the intersection where the light is and a stop sign, and you know that's government. That's politics. So you got to vote on that. Everything's about voting because you want to represent a representative democracy. We decide who we want to represent us in these elected seats. That's the government. That's what this is. So what are you doing? You have to vote. You can't say I ain't voting, and then 2 seconds later, why they didn't pick up my trash? Why was my trash out here 2 days straight? Why don't they come do this at the park? Why don't they? You can't. Shut up.
Shut up, cuz.
I don't want to hear it.
And they don't realize all that is about your vote.
Right.
All of that. So
right.
It's so sad.
It is. Absolutely it is. Absolutely.
In case you're just viewing, just tuning into us, we have Mr. Reg Davis on with Joanne Tosin Fuller and myself. Subscribe and like the broadcast, but he's bringing us up to date on the elections and proposed in the city of Detroit for 2021, and we'll be dealing with the Detroit City Council, the mayor's race.
Mm-hmm.
We're also with what we're really discussing today is the proposal P, and that's dealing with the city charter, and they want to prevent from putting these changes onto the ballot, correct?
Right. Yeah, that's
for
right.
us to vote on.
Right. Yeah, and I wanted to say this earlier, and I didn't get a chance to. One thing that was significant that we changed in the charter that exists today is what you see before yourself. That I think it was very good, and that is where the mayor, the police chief just left, James Craig,
right.
And White is now the interim. And what happens is in that process, prior to us, myself, the great Teal Hunter, and I was sitting at the table and scripting that language. Prior to us making a little change, it said that the mayor basically, by simple means, it said that the mayor could choose whoever he wants to be the police chief.
Right.
And we saw how that works when you got one guy who brings his boy in to be the police chief, and how everything goes, with anything that happens in the city, i.e. Ayanna, the young lady Ayanna, who was on her couch and she got shot. Remember, it became a national.
I remember that.
I think it was the police chief was he's the Wayne County executive now, Warren Evans. And what happened was that Dave Bing was the man. And what happened? They swept that story when the little girl got shot from sleeping or taking a nap on her couch. Some guy drove by, shot in the house, and killed the police. Anyway, she died. Young lady, innocent lady died. The life was taken. You remember that story? And they swept that story under the rug. Everybody was jumping out. What happened? What are you gonna do? What happened to the girl? What did the police shoot her? What happened? Nobody said nothing for months. So that was our rationale that we used. That was the rationale that we used on the charter, and this charter commission saying, hey, we're gonna change that some kind of way. Now the mayor has this power, okay, strong mayor, council, form of government. Hang on a second. We're gonna make shift something. I stood up and pulled the error all the way back. Let's say, let's go from strong mayor council to council manager form of government. They weren't having that. So what they said was, okay, Reg, what we will do, we're going to vote, we're going to do this. Instead of the mayor being able to choose whatever, like the mayor leaves, in this case would have been Chief Craig leaving, and the mayor in the former charter, this mayor would say, okay, all right, he's going, I want my boy Larry to come be the police chief. And Larry would have been the police chief because all it said was the mayor can choose who he wants, and council may support that. So we changed that may, we changed a few other things, and now it says that the police commission will oversee. They're gonna scout a group to look for these top chiefs all over the country. Give us a short list, then they take the list, knock it down, and they're gonna give the mayor, I don't know, I forget the number. Was it 3 to 5?
I think it's 3 to 5.
Yeah, something like that. So a number of people who they like, who the council thinks he should choose. They didn't say that before. Before he can choose his boy in the backyard across the street. You can't do that now. Right. Now the mayor has to look at a list that was put together by an independent group that nationally searches for these police chiefs, and the police commission takes it and narrows it down to who they think the best are. Then they give that little list to the mayor. He has to choose from that list, and then council must then, if he says, okay, Janice Freeman, she's the police chief I like, let's get her. Council has to approve it. It didn't say that on the former charter. It said he can say who he wants, and that person's in there. And council may, approve it. So this one says no. Council will approve. Must, will, those kind of terms. Approve it, and he can't do nothing without their approval. So that's going, changing a little power from the. So we did little stuff like that in the charter. Like I said, I think it was a great charter. It wouldn't put us in in bankruptcy. It's some great little, if I want to say liberal type stuff that we all kind of like that help people have a better day-to-day quality of life here in the city of Detroit. But the one that we have that we're looking at now, I don't like it for many reasons. It will take us into bankruptcy, but it should be on the ballot. It really should be. Dana Nessel, that it should be on the ballot.
A question for you, Reg. As these changes are occurring in city government, and where do you see the city going and moving forward into the future if this ballot is, if this proposal is placed on the ballot?
Well, I see it being a more fair situation because we're not allowing voter suppression to occur. So I will say that first and foremost. But I think it'll start to take us in a place that and I'm gonna have to go here now, as Black people, this is still the biggest Black city in this country. We are the mecca of Black America. Detroit is and always has been. We were once upon a time 90-something% Black. Now we just dipped down to 77%, and we understand that. We know the term. I'm not even going to use the term that Coleman Young talked about in the early 80s on TV with Bill Bonds. He said, y'all better go buy these properties. I'm telling them to take their beep across 8 Mile, but while they're going across 8 Mile, y'all need to come and take advantage of these and buy these properties and real estate, land, all this, because they're going to come back and they're going to take it back and push us out. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, but I think this is a time for us to have a better understanding of how we need to save face. I'm not racist by any means, but at the same time, I believe in Black and Blackness and the power of Black people, and I think that we should at this point take our city back. However you wish to slate that or understand that, that's what we should do. We should take our city back. Mike Duggan, friend of mine, he appointed me one of the district managers on the west side, and I thank him for that. And it was a great opportunity. But hey man, you came in. Kwame, bless his heart, is just here. Did an awesome little piece today. Coming back, he told me, I talked to Kwame about a month and a half ago, and we had a little talk. And I was asking him, was he going to get back in the government and any, not in Michigan, but somewhere else, or help someone in Michigan or whatever. And he said, Reg, no. He said, this is exactly what he said. I'm going to be the next TD Jakes. I started laughing. I thought he was playing, and I didn't know what the next move was going to be. And now I see it, and that's a beautiful thing for that brother. But I think that he was 31. He was young. We're the same age. He and I, born in 1970. He just turned 51. I'll be 51 in a few months. And I just think that we felt it was time for a young guy to be, in charge. Then, the earring, hip hop, all that. But he kind of said something. It didn't work out that way, and then we went to an older gentleman, the former basketball player, and then now then say, okay, well maybe the white guy save us, whatever. I feel that it's time for us to rally together and figure out how we can get our city back. I truly believe that. So I think this is the time. I really do.
And this is definitely will show the younger people, millennials, and even those that are coming up after them, the power of working together as a unit and what people can do to change the conditions and the circumstances in their community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a really good thing, Rufus. And I just think that, the voices like me and you and Joanne, we need to pick up a phone. We need to, hold some meetings. We need to, COVID is still here, but it's giving us a little breathing room. Playing on words, but it's time now, really, for cats like us to get up and do what we know needs to be done, and be the example that, like as you were saying, for the young people, for others to follow. Most of my career, I was happy I was able to have that microphone and to display to other young people something that they could could follow or model themselves after, if I might say. And I think more of us should continue to do that. And I think it's very important because young people, they go by just innately. They go by what they see and what their surroundings. You know, they're easily, if every day, well, I'll say this one. If I hang out with crackheads every day for the next 21 days, I'm liable to become a crackhead. Young people, they hang out with young guys with, you know, the cars blasting music, the big rims, and the, you know, money in the pockets, guns hanging out, girls, all, you know, all that kind of stuff. If that's what they see all the time every day, that's what they're more likely to be. But if they start to see, you know, you, Joanne, you, Rufus, me, talk in their face, talking to them, then they're liable to become, you know, what basically we
should.
So they need to be surrounded by people like us, and that's something we need to better understand and start to make happen.
So I have a question, because I know it comes up a lot with some of the young people that I talk to, and you just brought up a point about being some of the faces that they need to see and the voices that they need to hear. And it comes up a lot, well, we don't have a leader. And what they're talking about is we don't have that, and I know I'm about to date myself, but we don't have that Martin Luther King or that Malcolm X or that, you know, there. And so how can we, I guess my question, how can we still encourage, if they're looking for that, I don't know if this is the time for that type of, so how can we encourage our people? How can, I know we can one-on-one and as we come in contact, but it seems like they're looking for the great hope or the great, you know.
Yeah, well, the odd thing is the young people are the Malcolm X and the Dr. King. They are. Every movement, if you think about every movement from here to whenever, how far back you can go, including civil rights and other ones, all those movements were led by young people. So the thing is, we, as the older people now, because I was young once and now I'm older, so we respect it. You know, I used to be the youngest in the room, but now I'm older.
I used to want to be Angela Davis. I got in trouble back in the 70s for trying to be Angela Davis.
I know that's right, Angela Davis. But we need to start to put them in an environment where they're able to see that they are the leaders. And then they'll start processing things a little better. And then they'll come to us, like on the last charter, I put something it didn't really make it through, but something that I put proposals together with a team of people was to put together a youth council, which would be an actual city council group. Awesome. They couldn't legislate anything or pass any ordinance, anything like that. But what they would do was sit them. We do a campaign with them, on, you know, in their neighborhoods or whatever, and they vote for who they think should be their leaders in the neighborhood. So if I'm over on Joy Road, Dexter, on Carter Street or whatever, I'm voting for these 5 guys or gals that want to run. I know them. We're gonna vote. So we practicing. We starting out the right way, and whoever gets the most votes, they're gonna represent that area of Detroit on the youth council. And then the youth council would meet, you know, downtown or wherever, and they would go over issues like safe routes to school, you know, different things that affect youth in schools and in the community. And they vote on different things. And what they do is they go before council, the actual common council, city council, and they would have sessions with them where they stand up and as leaders, you know, this is idea that we have. We think the safe routes over on Joy Road, Dexter should cut through the Coney, over in front of the Coney Island and come down to the boulevard, whatever. And then the council would take that in consideration, and they would literally, council would pass ordinances having to do with what the young people feel, you know, the majority of them feel is the way to do it. And that would help young people feel like they are now a part of something. And then that's the environment that I'm saying with Joanne that we need to put them in and around, because now the leaders will start coming out like this flourishing, like little bulb, this, because everybody's not a leader. You only have a small percentage. And the others are followers, and they all just fall in place. It's just how it happens. So the young people, the leaders, will start to show themselves if we set up the environment, the atmosphere for them to sit down and start being the leaders that they really are. and then that would actually happen, and we'd all be respectful of them. And then they come up, grow older, and start running for city council and winning because they've already been there. So if they are in the neighborhood, they're a young person. He's 18 years old, and he won the city, the youth council seat, and he did an amazing job with putting together these safe routes and whatever. Now he's ready to run for the city council. He's 25, 35, whatever. Yes. And then they, you know what I mean? Then the next day, the mayor. Then they become the mayor of the city. And then that's how it's supposed to go. That's right. The way it's supposed to go. So we'll get back to that. That's what needs to happen.
Yes. This is Talking To, and I am Rufus Bill. Joanne Tilson Fuller, our other host, and our special guest is Reg Davis. And we would like to thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. And I know you've had a busy day out on the campaign trail.
Yeah, I was sweating, man. I was sweating.
I think you can.
I came home. I got to jump in the shower. I came straight from since 8 this morning. We've been out putting up lawn signs, knocking doors, talking. And I just ran back. I said, let me get back for my boy. I told Rufus I'm going to do this. Let me hurry up. I was trying to get back. I wanted to jump in the shower, but it's all my business.
It's all out there in the street.
That's all right.
Is there a number that you can give either for the for your initiative ceasefire or if anyone can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is being since COVID, like I said, we couldn't do much in the schools because of COVID. So we're redoing reinventing ourselves, I might say. For the next school season. So, but you can go to ceasefiremichigan.org. That's ceasefiremichigan.org. Or you just call me on my cell. I've been giving away my cell phone since my old radio days. I would be on the air giving away my cell phone.
You sure would.
But I stayed live. I remember one young lady called me on the phone. She was 8 years old. She said, cousin, this man is at my house beating my mama upstairs. I heard her mama screaming and everything. And she, instead of calling 911, she called her cousin, Reggie on the cell phone. I called the police and saved that lady's life. So my number, and then I always say, if I'm in elected office, if you vote for me, call me, not my receptionist. You didn't vote for the receptionist. She's not in this. You voted for me, so that's call me. If I'm on the phone talking to my son or my mama, I'll leave a message. I'll call you back. So my number is 313-544-6312. Detroit 544-6312.
All right. And before, I'm sorry, Joanne, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I just said awesome. I just think this is just great. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Joanne.
I said before you got off the air today, I wanted to talk about Oral Roberts University. Joanne, he graduated from Oral Roberts. I used to watch their broadcast all the time on Sundays.
I had a chance while I was there. I had a chance to literally meet the Oral Roberts before he passed on.
Did you really?
And Richard Roberts, his son. Their whole family. I met them, and they've always had an outstanding basketball team. And just recently, I think it was last year, ORU was became the champions in the NCAA. They always had a good basketball team. I remember that. I forget the coach's name, but yeah, the Oral Roberts, the good old days in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
How about that? And their communications department was widely known.
Yeah. And that was a beautiful campus. I mean,
Lord.
I heard Oral spent like $14 million a year just on the upkeep of that beautiful camp. Beautiful.
Unreal. Well, I said I'm about to speak to Reggie about that.
You know about Oral Roberts.
Well, Reg, Joanne and I thank you so very much.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Rufus, for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And much continued success in all your endeavors.
Thank you. You too.
Have a great one.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, bye, Joanne. So, what do you think?
Look, he got me thinking. Look, Black Power again.
Wait, I gotta get in the camera.
I'm telling you, for real. But I used to, because I was always into all of that back, when I was younger, and still. But as you get older, you just kind of. But now, just seeing where our young people are going or not going, just trying to encourage them, and it's like, come on, you guys have to realize that you're not tomorrow.
Right, you're now.
Today, you are here now. You're in your 20s and 30s. Come on, you guys, you've got to realize. And I think part of it is that we've become so complacent and think that we've made it.
Exactly.
Because we can almost live where we want to live. We can go to school where we want to go. We can work. We can come and go as we please to different places. We feel we've gotten so relaxed, and we feel like, oh, I've made it. And
Right.
those who have, the education, and those who have the money, and some, so we feel like that
We've
we don't have to
arrived.
fight anymore.
Mhm.
But you know what? That fight still needs to be in us.
Yes, it
That
does.
fight needs to, because if these last 4 years didn't show you, we have not come as far as we think we have. If it didn't show you that, something's wrong.
Yeah, something definitely is
we
wrong.
need the storytellers back in our family to tell us, what our parents, and that's not so far back. I'm talking about
No,
my
it's
parents.
not. It's not.
It is not that far back. My parents, my what they went through just to vote, what the women went through just to vote, what the men went through just to, oh my goodness. So we have to start telling those stories again and sharing. And this is why I'm encouraging my child. This is why I'm encouraging you. This is why I'm encouraging somebody else's child. Get out there and vote. Get out there and do what you need to do. And I do agree with him about, if you don't put it on the ballot, that is voter suppression. Because treat me like I'm intelligent enough to read something and make my own decision.
Yes.
So this was truly, I love him.
I loved it too. It was very informative, very inspirational.
Yes.
And very in your face.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I like that.
I like that too. We'd like to thank our engineer today, Mr. Al Rogers.
Al.
And happy belated birthday.
Yes.
He just celebrated a birthday and had some accomplishments in his family with his children.
You want us to sing to you, Al?
Now, we have the singer on. We have the premier singer.
Oh,
Joanne Tosin Fuller.
Mr. Rufus.
So Joanne will sing you a line of happy birthday.
You gonna join me?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
You. If you yes, sing. Joanne, you started and I'm gonna come in.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Al. Happy birthday to you. Now,
happy birthday, Al.
Happy birthday, Al. Clive Owens. Clive Davis from Arista Records. You got your two new duets.
Hey.
Your two new duets. You have a new duet. All right, Joanne. So it's been great as usual. Once again, we thank Al, and next week is our Father's Day. It's Father's Day, and we encourage everyone to make sure that you're with us 4:00 p.m. next Sunday. Joanne?
Yes. Look forward to it. Celebrating all our fathers.
How about that?
Yes.
All right.
Our fathers and those who have stepped in to be fathers.
Yes.
And the uncle daddies and the brother daddies and because nowadays there's so many people that step in to help out. So yes.
And that's needed.
Yes.
Definitely. Joanne, you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too.
And Al, and bless you. And Al, thank you once again. Oh, I wanted to do a shout out to your musician, Maestro Gerald.
Yes. The baddest musician
I know.
on the face of this earth.
How about that?
That's how I feel about my brother.
Well, I feel about that as well.
Look, the baddest musician, vocalist. What else? We can just go on down.
We can go on and on and on.
And it's bad.
And it's funny. I just saw a post of Alice Bronner. He used to be in Alice's choir. I cannot remember the solo she gave him, but he tore that church up that one day. I said, "Wow."
I'm telling you, can go from classical to opera to contemporary to hymns to gospel.
Oh,
that's a
in one setting.
That is a gift.
It is definitely a gift. It is definitely a gift. But once again, have a great evening, Joanne, and thank you all for being listening to Talking To, and we'll be with you next week.
Okay, have a good one.